place is special to us. If you look immediately to your right on the far wall, you'll see a plaque that says Class of 1997. That's my class, the class I graduated with. You'll see names on that that are no longer with us. This is Memorial Hall. This is a hallowed and sacred place for us. When they first told me that they were hosting this event here, my immediate reaction was, I hope these men and women know what this place is, what it means to them. Watching how you've worked today, watching how you've kind of drank deeply from this cup, makes me happy to have you here. For this is a special place to us. It's our hallowed ground. As athletes, which we all are, you have this constant tension as an athlete. One, to respect your legacy, those who came before you. I looked at team sports and military service as a hero factory. It's what it is. When we're young and we're trying to decide who we're going to be, we pick people off the court, off the field, and off these walls to say, I want to be like that. In our earliest days, we begin to inform who and what we're going to be by what we watch other men and women do on the field of competition. I love competitive sports. I love team sports. And the military service is just like that. In all our hometowns we come from, there's these names that whisper to you the minute you take the court, right? As the first time you're a varsity basketball player, you step onto the court, and there's these names that are there whispering to you and challenging you to make people forget them. That's the beauty of sports, is the highest form of praise is to encourage and inspire so much that they ultimately make someone forget you and remember them. It's the highest form of praise, to inspire someone so much that they exceed you in their endeavors. This place is special, and you are too. Or I would not let you in here, because this is home to us. If you listen, there are whispers even today. Be great. Be a high version of yourself. Respect your legacy. Become your own legend. That's what this place is to us. It's more than a room. There's names in here of men and women who thought you were worth it, and they didn't even know you. Jonas Panic, my classmate, we played football together at the Naval Academy. He thought you were worth dying for, and he didn't even know you. And the measure of our days is to look at these names and say, we will not waste our time. That's what I love so much about sports. For me, sports was an opportunity to demonstrate how much I love the people who had built into me for 60 minutes on Saturday. To measure my will against another man's will. See who wants it more in that moment. It's all of life. The best of it, the worst of it, the hardest of it, in 60 minutes or less. Athletes, I'm here to tell you, you are uniquely gifted and equipped to lead in life. Sports teaches us this. You know, as a young man who left Texas and came over here to the United States Naval Academy, after burying my father, trying to figure out who I was going to be, this is the very first place I walked into. I walked up those steps as a scared 18-year-old, extremely angry young man. And I found myself humbled by these names, how they had lived, how they had died, and the stand that they set for me. The ink on these names is valor. I love valor. Valor has no color. Valor doesn't care. Valor is measured in how much you love the person next to you and what you're willing to do for them, irrespective of the differences. You know, I listen to what's going on in America today, and I have such incredible hope. We have things that divide us for sure. But I think in this room we're uniquely gifted Sports does that. Competition does that. The heroes on our walls when we were growing up were athletes or warriors. In this room right here, the young men and women that we can influence, the young men and women we have the opportunity to go, don't listen to what the world is telling you you can't do. Watch me. Tell them what you can do. To be worth these names. As an 18-year-old man walking up those steps, taking in this flag, don't give up the ship, no matter what happens. Don't give up the ship. That became a battle cry, a legacy to live up to. We all have those, these mantras from our hometown courts that we came from. And it becomes part of our legacy when we join these colleges that we go play with now, and we inherit the legacy and the lore and the history of these places that we play with now. And our singular mission is to not let our tribes down. It's so great to have that kind of life. To know that there's people who invest in you, who thought you were worth more than you could ever imagine. So much so that regardless of race, color, creed, ethnicity, they're willing to die for you even though they don't even know you. And the way that we pay them back is to use our time. To use our time. You know, I have this system I've kind of put in my own life to make sure I'm not wasting my time. It's this concept called pursuing elite, and that's what I want to share with you with the time I have today, is this concept called pursuing elite. I prefer simplicity. Simplicity is the only thing you can remember when you're scared, stressed, and over your skis. And if you're living any kind of life that you should be proud of, it is scary and it is stressful, and you're awful over your skis. And what I mean by simplicity is we tend to use a lot of words and a lot of graphics to measure how something happened. But if we just strip it all down, because that's what you have to do when you don't have time, you can say one of 5 things. No matter what you did, the game, the rep, the practice, the scrimmage, it was either bad, it was average, it was good, it was excellent, it was elite. That's it. That's all. It was bad. You know, if it's bad and bad's okay with you, I don't know how you're in this room. And if bad's okay with you, don't come up and talk to me after this. We're not going to be friends. We have nothing to share. We have nothing in common. Average has no secrets. Average has no secrets. In all my 42 years, I've never heard anybody walk up to someone and go, how do you maintain such mediocrity for so long? Like, what's the secret to your averageness? There's no secrets to averageness. There's no rooms that memorialize the merits of averageness. Then there's good. You know, and good's okay. If it's not your passion or your profession, good's okay. But athletes and warriors, if it's your passion or your profession, the only thing you should be okay with is somewhere between excellent and elite. What's the difference? For me, the difference is this. You know, excellence is a place on a map. It's a place that you say you're going to go. It's the things you say you're going to do. And you do them, and you hug each other, and you celebrate, and you high five. But there's a particular kind of person that looks at that, and they celebrate it appropriately, and then they look beyond that, and they go, what's that? Has anybody ever done that before? Has anybody made it this fast before? Has anybody done it this way before? They're not done. Those who pursue elite are those who get to excellent, but they're not done. And these are my people. People like you. I could be anywhere in the world, and if I'm around people like you, I'm home. I'm home. Around the not done kind of. But I didn't know how to always describe it that way. The first time those words came to me was in the days after 9/11. In the days after 9/11, I got to be one of the very first units in the Middle East. And we were doing what's called MEO, a maritime interdiction operation. We were taking ships down. We were pirates. It was fantastic. It was everything I signed up for. We took a ship down one night. It was poetry. It was beautiful. As athletes, you understand this better than anybody else. There's times when you're doing something and you almost feel bad for your competition. You know, we've always had that moment, right? We just kind of feel sorry for the person wearing another colored jersey or in a different helmet. You know, as a football player, where your offense is doing what it does, you're like, man, I hate to play my offense right now. When your defense is come alive for that moment, you're like, man, I would hate to go against my defense right now. If the team is playing us this way, like, I'd hate to try to cover them, I'd hate to try to defend them, I'd hate to try to stop that. And that was one of those nights. It's like we came alive for a moment like this. things. And I'm not one of these guys that talks too much about the details, and I think the details need to stay over there. What I would tell you is this: you would have been amazed at the valor. And valor has no color. It didn't matter who you were, where you're from, what your story was, what the differences were. The thing that mattered most is why you were here and what you were going to do for each other. And it's magic when that happens. And we're blessed by that every day in our sport. And I remember the mission was successful, and my chief in the special operations community in the military, all the residents, like, as you look around at men in uniform, you will see men with bars and lines, and that means they're an officer. If you see someone with stripes and layers and stars, these are enlisted men, and the entirety of the fighting skill of the United States military is stewarded and cultivated by the enlisted men. They are the magic. And I remember looking at my chief and saying, "Hey chief, the boys were excellent, we ought to do something for them." And he stopped dead in his tracks, and I'll never forget this because he was mad, and he turned and looked at me and goes, "Hey sir, the reward for excellence is no punishment. I'm not here to be excellent, I'm here to be elite. There's a difference." Hey sir, the reward for excellence is no punishment. I'm not here to be excellent, I'm here to be elite. There's a difference. I'm not done yet. That's what this place says to me. They're done. These names, they're not with us anymore. These legends from our hometowns, these men that grew up wanting to be like when we played basketball, played football, and all these other sports, they don't get to play anymore. And what we do with the time that we have is we steward their legacy in our pursuit of becoming our own legends. That's what they would expect of us. As a guy who's needed every performance advantage my entire life, I'm not an extraordinarily gifted person. I just know why I'm here. To pursue elite, you must do 5 things. To be worth these names and the names in your own life. As a guy who should study people who consistently produce outcomes, these elite outcomes, what I tell you is they do 5 things always, every time, no matter what they do. Elites are balanced. If these men and women on these walls could tell us to something, they'd say be balanced. Have high ground for hard days, because hard days are coming. And if you don't have high ground for hard days, when the hard days come, now they're bad. And I don't care who you are. You can't take many bad days. But you can take lots of hard ones. And if you have high ground to go to on a hard day, you have a chance. What do I mean by that? If all you're good at is what you're good at, then you have no balance. You're a one-legged stool that'll never stand. When you build areas of your life that you can go to that are outside your skill set, you can go to those places when it's hard. As a linebacker, dude, I gotta be a better linebacker, I gotta be a better linebacker. That's not balance, that's my job. As a SEAL, I gotta be a better SEAL, I gotta be a better SEAL. That's not balance, that's my job. Because, oh, by the way, I just got married to this incredible bride, and if I didn't build into her as much as I was building into my craft, when I have a hard day in the NFL, because you have hard days in the NFL, when I have a hard day on the battlefield, do I go on the high ground? And that hard day just becomes a bad day. Elites create high ground for hard days. They invest in people around them. They build the shoulders of those around them so they can hang on to them when time gets tough. Elites are curious. They ask questions. They look at history. In the special operations community, we're always taking on missions that are bigger than us, and we have to grab more people than we have to go to this impossible thing. And I asked my chief, I said, "Chief, how do we pick the right people to go to this impossible thing?" He goes, "Sir, look for the ones asking questions. Because the curious are always brave. They just want to find out. They don't want to be found out." As athletes would know this. Hey, when the lights are on, everybody's watching. That's not the time to learn. That's the time to do. If you're a young athlete, let me give you this incredible gift. And the gift is this: the coaches and the older players, we already know you don't know. We already know you don't know. And when you ask questions, when you seek to understand that, all that tells us is you want to be great at this. Curiosity is an indicator of the capacity to be some higher version of yourself and to be worth these names and the people who built into you. Elites are curious. I love curiosity so much I call it intellectual courage, and it's a precursor and co-equal of physical courage. And I'm not diminishing physical courage, certainly not in a place like this. I'm just being honest. The truth about physical courage is this: you're brave because you had to be. It doesn't take anything away. A lot of people still can't do it. But you're brave because you had to be. And what elevates curiosity so much, the terrain of courage is it's totally escapable. That's the definition of courage, right? Action in the face of fear. 42 years old. I've done a lot of things. When I'm in a room full of people that I respect and admire, I still get a pit at the bottom of my stomach when I don't know something. But I'm encountering fear in that moment, and I have to remember why I'm here. And I raise my hand. Hey, help me understand this. This is too important to learn out of the field. It's too important to learn how to do this. And when we're in some gunfight, I don't have time to figure it out then. And I feel like everyone else around me because I wasn't brave enough to do this. Truthfully, there are names on this wall because someone wasn't brave enough to ask a question. And that's horrifying. And I never want that to be part of my story. But these are curious. These are tribal. They're balanced, they're curious, they're tribal. You know this. This is the air we breathe as athletes. Listen, when you see groups of people, they're one of four things. They're gaggles, they're groups, they're teams, or they're tribes. That's it. What's a gaggle? A gaggle is sad serendipity. Gaggle is physics. Gaggle is all the water that rolled downhill. That's the only reason they're together is circumstances. Groups are different. Groups are people that find themselves in the same place, time, doing generally the same thing for a million different individual reasons. And teams are where the magic starts. Teams is where all of you are right now. Teams do great things. Teams recognize the value of diverse skills. They have a common goal. And they're willing to submit themselves to the goal to do the great thing. And tribes are different. Tribes are when the only thing matters is the mission and the man or woman next to you. And ladies and gentlemen, that is very rare to breathe when you're in a tribe. It is the best of us. It is the highest form of human coexistence, to be tribal. To love something and someone so much that you're willing to say this with your dying breath, and not give up the ship. Tribes have lives that live long after them. You want this? I promise you. Elites always know why they're there. Elites are authentic, they preach from their pain, they share their scars. And they know why they're there. Listen, the brain is a simple thing. You've just figured it out. The brain, you can't multitask. You can't think about different things at multiple times. You can only think about one thing at a time. And when you're going through an extraordinarily hard situation, you can either think about what you have to do, or you can remember why you started doing the hard thing. And if you can remember why you started doing the hard thing, you got a chance. And if you don't, the what's will take you down. Man, this is a place that demands spectacular why. The life you live is too hard to not know why you're doing it. And if you know your why, then the what's are just the what's. The what's are the one more minute, the one more mile, the one more rev, the one more moment, all the one mores that frankly a lot of people you know weren't willing to do, and that's why they're not where you are. Because you have a why. And they didn't. And the what's take you down. You gotta have a why. I believe everybody said about a high why and a big why. Your high why is why you exist. It's the reason for your being. It's what they say about you after you're gone. The stats on death are pretty convincing. One of one, we're all going to die. They're going to say something about us when that happens. What is that going to be? If you don't have an answer for that, get one. Your big why is why you do what you do. Why you use your time, treasure, your talent, the way you do it. If you know those things, you got a chance. My high why, I'll share it with you. And I do this because it reminds me of why I'm here. And I'm surrounded right now with men and women I know and love and I've known for years. And I'm recommitting to this every time I say it because it's that important. And I'm giving you permission for the rest of your life. If you ever see me doing something that's different than this right now, come, challenge me. I need it. My high why is this. I have 3 little girls. Maddie, Grace, Lily, Claire, Sutton, Rose, and all I want to be is the kind of guy I want my girls to marry one day. That's it. I just want to be a man with my girls. My big why is I want to use these God-given abilities and talents to protect, love, serve, and build into others. Man, my life is so simple. And because it's so simple, it doesn't matter how hard it is, I know why I'm here. I know I'm here tonight to be around you. To be around you is rocket fuel for a man like me. It's young men of conviction who are doing things the hard way because they know the hard way produces fruit that ease will never produce. As an old man, you look for these moments where you're around people who just, their eyes are bright, their chins are strong, and they're leaning into life in the way that you used to, and it reminds you to not waste your time. The last one is this. Leads are balanced, they're curious, they're tribal, they always know why they're there, and they're authentic. They preach from their pain, they share their scars. And they do this for a reason. Listen, if you don't like people at all, if you don't care about people at all, you still have to share your scars. You still have to preach from your pain, because no matter what you're doing, there's another team, there's another enemy on the field. In basketball, you're playing the competition, but you're also playing the clock. The clock is always there. And for you to let someone else make your mistake, spend the time that you've already spent, is deny yourself and your team the opportunity to win. But if you care about people, you give them more than that. As a guy who doesn't have a father, I've built a life based on the scars that have never shown me. It takes guts to roll up your sleeves, grab a young man and go, hey, come here. See that scar? I already got that. It's not worth it. Don't get it. It takes guts to do that. There are names that are not on this wall in here because someone walked up to someone and go, no, don't do it that way. I did that way once, almost killed us, don't know how I got away with it. Don't do it that way. There are names that are not on this wall because men and women were brave enough to roll up their sleeves and bear their scars and show someone else a better way. Elites know this. They know this. I love being around you. When I was a 23-year-old man, that's really perfect vision of who and what I wanted to be. Not what I wanted to do. Those are different things. You can know exactly who you want to be and have no idea what you want to do, and that's okay. That's okay to know who you want to be and not know what you want to do. Because life's going to reveal a lot to you, but you know who you want to be right now. And the world's going to try to take that away from you every chance it gets. Because the world hates strength. The world hates conviction. The world hates unity. Because it exposes the world for what it is. A place where tribes don't exist. When you are tribal, you have a life that you love, and you use your days. And you can say that you're worth a place like this. I love being in the Navy. I loved everything about it. I love fighting for you. You know, people say, thank you for your service, and I look at them and go, you were worth it. And it shakes them a little bit. They've never heard that before. They go, what do you mean? I say, you're worth it, because that's what we're thinking. We're over there fighting, and we go, man, I hope these people are worth it. And then you come home, and you meet some 6'8" giant who cares deeply and passionately about how you turn that Humvee on. Like, man, he cares. And I wonder if he's thinking of what it's like to turn that Humvee on and you're getting shot at and you're scared. You just lost your friend. When you show that interest in us, when you want to understand our world, tonight when we go to bed, we'll go, they're worth it. They're worth it. You know, as a young man who didn't have a father, I picked this battle cry. This battle cry became mine, and I just embraced it. And the saying was hold fast and stay true. And here's what it meant. I used to write it on my knuckles. HOLDFAST, STAYTRUE. And here's what it meant. In the olden days when the ships were made of wood, and the seas would rise, and the storms would rise, and everything would happen, everyone on the deck of the ship would yell at each other, hold fast, hold fast, hold fast. And what they're telling each other to do is grab the things that last. Things that have been made, things that have been here before. Your history, your culture, your family, your friends, the legends that have come before you. Just hang on. Hang on. Because they last. Stay true for the leader. This person with a ship's wheel in their hands, and they would say, stay true, stay true. And they were saying, it's like, listen, there's a place we're going where it got really hard, and you're either going to let the wind steer us, the waves steer us, the storms steer us, so you're going to stay true. And we need you to stay true. As athletes and warriors, we have multiple responsibilities. Two of them are this. We leave tonight, walk around, read these names. For I would tell you that the names on here that I know, and there are too many names here that I know. If I ask them, are you proud of these men? Do you think they're worth it? With what I've learned of you today, to a man, they wouldn't change a thing. They wouldn't change a thing. They would say, yeah, they're worth it. There are hard days ahead, but we're used to that. Because we were athletes and warriors. stay true.